Hey, hey! All right, we're going to kick off this live podcast. Welcome back, you guys, this week to A Sexy Confident Life. I'm so excited to be back here with you. I just got back from an amazing trip to Italy in the Chianti region, and it was pretty spectacular. And, I had some time to really kind of chill out, reflect, relax. And I hope that you all have a lot of time, or at least once or twice a year, have a few days to really kind of take that time for yourself and kick back. Because man, do I feel good. Of course, the jet lag is always something to recover from, right? But I was thinking about a really powerful topic with this return from my vacation, and that is about perspective. And the title of this episode is that perspective improves our attitude and our gratitude. That is our perspective if we're growing it, if we're continually opening it. And, there's a lot of different definitions that you could kind of take it, right? Perspective, if you go online and Google perspective quotes, man, you will be so in just like amazed by the different quotes and the different ideas that surround this idea. And it's really just a way of thinking. It's a point of view. It's your outlook, your stance, your frame of mind. Your perspective is all of those things. And some people have kind of that narrow perspective, right? And you can sense that when you meet them, because they'll kind of think of everything so negative and so blah, 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 and woe is me and self-pity and all sorts of stuff. Or people with great open wide perspectives, more wise, and you just feel this positivity from them, and their attitude and their stance is that they've learned a lot. They've really grown. They understand the world. And I was looking at a couple of the quotes that I wanted to share with you right off the bat to get you in this frame of mind about why it's so important that we continually work on opening our perspective in life, because it can lead to so much growth, happiness, gratitude, and overall joy really in our lives if we focus on this. And I'm going to share a few ways that I focus on keeping an open perspective. And Dr. Wayne Dyer says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I mean, I think that's so beautiful. Marcus Aurelius says, everything we hear is an opinion, not fact. Everything we see is perspective, not the truth. So, when I read those two, I just thought, wow, you know what, today I want to talk about perspective, because there's a lot going on in the world, right? There's a lot going on in your life, and it can get really easy to allow that the stress and the struggles of life to wear on us, to wear us down, right? And that's really something that we want to avoid if we can. And here in the Sexy Confident Life, brand and my whole theory and my whole philosophy behind why I started this company and this whole podcast and the products that I have out and the things that I'm promoting and teaching is that it's all geared to help us live a more joyful and positive and confident, courageous, ongoing personal development in our life so that we can go out there and live our best life. We've only got one. So we really got to take it seriously and say, how am I going to experience my life? Am I going to experience it with shutters over my eyes and self-centered and not thinking about anything else happening in the world, or not learn more about the world or different people and cultures and places and situations? And am I going to let every attitude towards everything be limited by my closed perspective? No, right? I know you aren't, especially if you're listening to this podcast and you like it. If you've been listening to me at all this year, over these past 53 episodes, I know that you're serious about living a greater life. And so I know that you're going to take this topic really seriously, because I have to constantly remind myself to gain perspective. Oh yeah, many a times. And, I want to talk about what type of perspective and what role that plays and how we actually gain a greater perspective today. Because it's easy to lose perspective. We can get caught up in our own bubble, for sure, right? But it's also easy to get back our perspective. And that's what I'm telling you. It's like I lose perspective and then I gain it back because I'm aware. And that self-awareness is very important. I know that if you are more self-aware, you can really tell when it's time to reel it in. I've got to give myself that pep talk, say, Anna, let's gain a little perspective here. Why are you being such a brat? Why are you feeling so sorry for yourself? Why are you getting so frustrated? Why are you down and negative? Why are you stressed? Think about how often you have those emotions, right? And it's one thing to have the emotions, which is totally normal and totally fine. Everybody has them. Please don't, think that I don't. But it's another thing to stay there in that self-pity, in that victimhood, right? I mean, for instance, I'm in Tuscany, the Chianti region of Italy. And my husband and our friends, they're enjoying the most delicious wines, probably in that country. And you know that I love my wine. I'm a huge wino. I love to taste new wines and just smell them and just, different regions and where they come from and learn about the wine. It's not a habit, people. It's a hobby. But I couldn't do that this time. I took a couple sips and tried a few different wines, but it's not the same as having a glass of Chianti and being able to not feel like, oh, I don't want to have too many sips because, check it out, one little peek right here, this reason, right? So I got, a little bit down, I would say, a couple days in Tuscany. And I thought to myself, man, this sucks. I'm here in Italy and I can't really enjoy the wine and this trip is stupid. Why did I decide to come to Italy? And then right then, I caught myself and I thought about what I said. Have you ever caught yourself saying something and then you're like, what is my problem? I'm blessed to be carrying my first child. I am gifted and blessed to be in this country and in this beauty and with people that I love and to experience this whole adventure. And I'm sitting here feeling sorry for myself because I can't have more wine. That's stupid, right? And so I lost perspective of the bigger situation. I lost perspective of all of the gifts and the blessings that were surrounding me. And it's so easy, right? Because you want what you want. It's like, oh, if I can't have it, I'm pissed. Or if I can't do it, man, that sucks. But we have to remember to catch ourselves in these situations, right? And to not let ourselves get sucked into that self-pity and victimhood when really, if we look at the bigger picture, we have so much to be grateful for. We have so much to appreciate in our lives. Why are kids so prone to be picky or entitled or, even depressed to the point of committing suicide in today's age? Well, it's because they lack perspective. If they're being bullied, they've never been bullied before. They might not know what that's about. They might not understand the feelings that they're going through. They're young. They lack the experiences, the knowledge, the understanding of the bigger picture of life and how much life they have to live and how amazing that they are and how they can get through it. But, that's not their fault. They're young. And we have to understand that the more we can teach them, the more we can expose them to the realities of life and to other cultures and other people and other situations and educate them. The better off they'll be, the more wise they will become. I remember when I was a young girl and I was growing up with a single mom and my dad wasn't around much And we were living poor, and it was really frustrating and tough on me. And I thought, God, why me? Why is this my life? How is this fair? And I was depressed, and I would journal about it, and I would cry about it, and I would feel ashamed, and I was embarrassed. All these feelings that, of course, a teenager is going to feel when she's not aware of the world around her and aware of all the other people that have it much worse. So as I grew older and started to understand the world, started to meet new people, started to hear other stories, started to read about history, started to understand that, you know what? My situation wasn't so bad. I had a loving mother, wasn't a drug addict, wasn't abusive. She worked hard, she took care of us. We had all of our necessities. We weren't starving, we weren't cold, we weren't homeless. There was so much to be grateful for, but I couldn't see that as a kid. I could only see what the people close to me had and what I didn't have. And I think that relates in so many ways, even as we're adults and as we're growing and we're learning. It's like, if we don't get out of our own bubble, of our own circle of friends and family and people, and we're not learning and growing beyond that, we're only going to see what's closest to us. We're only going to be exposed to what we choose to expose ourselves to. And if we're not happy in our situation, then it's going to limit our perspective. We've got to look beyond, right? Maybe we're not happy because we're comparing to, the Joneses next door. Or, you're trying to build a business and you just started and you're comparing yourself to one of the biggest influencers in the market. If I wanted to compare myself to Brendan Burchard, I'm going to be a little intimidated. But I look at everybody else who's trying to grow and be positive influence in the world. And I say, you know what, Anna, you're doing pretty good. You're working really hard. But I know a lot of people, and I'm looking at a lot of people, and I'm opening my eyes to the world, and I'm reading emails and messages from people that have gained benefit and improved in their lives because of my words. And so I have to remember to appreciate that, right? Comparison can be a killer, totally. So what would you say is your perspective at this time in your life? I've just gone on and on and on about why it's important to open our perspective. And before we go into how we can really do that, let's talk about where you're at right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, if you were to rate your perspective today on a daily average basis, like, are you a 1 where it's very narrow? You tend to think negatively or pessimistic in the way that you see things, because you're not really looking beyond your close circle or outside of your own bubble? Or are you a 10 where you're very enlightened? You're very wise, that you see a situation beyond what it looks like right then and there, but you consider other factors that come into play, other things to be grateful for that surround it. A 10 is very enlightened and wise. Your perspective is worldly. You've been around the block, right? You've seen things and you've done things and you're learning new things all the time. So you tend to have a more positive and optimistic perspective on any situation. Where do you lie on that scale? Because I want you to take a little bit of time to think about that. And I want to talk about how we gain more perspective today. And, have a better attitude. Having a better attitude, feeling more grateful. It's about starting to learn and expose ourselves to the people, the places, the things, the experiences, and the knowledge beyond our current situation. Don't take that lightly. Even maybe write that down. If you have somewhere where you're writing. If you're driving, just remember, I've got to start learning and exposing myself to new experiences, to new people, to new places, and to new knowledge. Today, you're opening your perspective by just simply listening to this podcast on perspective. So good for you. Way to be here. Way to open up your eyes and your mind, right? It's that frame of mind that we're really trying to expand when we talk about gaining better perspective, because it's really hard to change and open our perspective when we're exposed to the same old things all the time. And I said that. It's easy to get sucked into the self-pity and the victimhood because, we're not aware of the world around us, or we're not thinking about the world around us. We're comparing to simply what we know around us, not beyond our situation. It's easy to complain or feel frustrated when we lose perspective because we just focus on the strains, right, of our life. We don't have a lot of our focus on the gains. So a lot of people are thinking about, oh God, this is so hard. This is such a struggle. This is so difficult, right? Versus, wow, this is giving me an opportunity to grow, to get better, to learn, to develop character. It's all about how you look at things. That is your perspective in a nutshell. And how you look at things truly is a reflection of what you're learning, of who you're surrounded by, of the history that you know, of the people that you've met, of the places that you've visited. And so, I'm going to talk about a few things that we can do, and the things that I know that I constantly try to add into my life in order to gain more perspective. Because if I truly want to live without this feeling of negativity, ungratefulness, depression, stress, sadness, all these things, it's very easy to get sucked down those roads if we lose perspective about all the things that we do have that we should feel grateful for, all the different ways that we can look at things in a different light. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have a computer. You should be grateful about having that computer, because there's a lot of people in the world that don't have a computer. Maybe you have an iPhone. There's a lot of people in the world that don't have an iPhone. There you go. Start thinking about everything that you could be grateful for starting today. If one of the things that you're dealing with is sadness, if one of the things that you're dealing with is not feeling good about yourself, I know that it's so difficult to change the way you feel if your perspective is still limited by your current situation and your current surroundings. So I can't emphasize that enough. Now, a couple things I want to mention as we're closing this conversation, because this is so important, you guys, is what are some of those tangible things that you can start doing today that can help open your perspective? One is getting that gratitude journal out. It's a journal. It can look like this, or it can look like this, and you're going to start writing in it every day. What do I have to be grateful for? That's it. One thing you should be doing every day. Or you're waking up in the morning and you're like, you know what? I'm so grateful today that I just woke up. I can tell you right now, I'm grateful every day when I wake up pain-free, with my back not achy, and I got a good night's sleep, right? So that's something that I can wake up every day and be like, oh, grateful for today. Thank you, right? Awesome. Another thing is getting out in nature. When you go into nature, whether it's a hike or a walk or a garden, or you're just outside and you're able to surround yourself by nature, you get to see the beauty of the earth. You get to see the beauty of the world. And it's hard to really appreciate a lot of different things if you don't appreciate nature, the beauty of nature. So sink into that a little bit. Really, really important. I think some of the most wise and enlightened people are people that really look at nature in a different light. They look at it with such intent and such curiosity and such appreciation that no matter what is going on, you can always look to nature to give you a good feeling, a good vibrancy, a good energy. And that's really important. You got to say, you know what? Wow. It's a simplicity that I can appreciate in life. When things get really hard, things get really tough, things get really chaotic, nature brings you back to a simplicity, right? So that's another thing. Read more. Watch less reality TV. Watch less drama. Please, for crying out loud, read more, educate yourself more, learn more. Really sink your teeth into knowledge and empowerment versus all the drama that can be thrown at you. And you might suck that up and it's nothing but chaos for the mind, right? Visit new places. You know, I always say that when we get exposed to different cultures, it can be really powerful for perspective. Get out there. You know, it doesn't have to be a different country. It could be a different town. You know, some people don't even leave their town. When was the last time you got out of town? When was the last time you drove to a different city near your city that you haven't been to in months or years to just get out, see a different place, meet some different people, be exposed to a different energy, a different vibe, a different view? It's powerful for your life. It's powerful for your attitude, right? It's really, really important to do those things. And you don't have to go to Italy, all right? But I got to tell you, when you do get to another country, wow, does it open up your perspective, right? Wow, do you get to see the world and meet new people and hear a different language and start to see that, geez, I've got so much to learn and be excited about and to look forward to and, you know, plan for the future, right? I know that that's stuff that I think about. Volunteer. Volunteering is such an incredible way to gain more perspective. You know, if you're feeling down and you're feeling depressed and you're feeling, you just like, you know, I guess sad, or if you don't feel grateful for the things you have, go and volunteer. Be around people less fortunate than you. Help them. Listen to them. See where they're coming from. Open your eyes, because getting out of your bubble gets you out of victimhood. It gets you out of self-pity and back into all the things that you do have, all the blessings that you can be grateful for. Meeting new people, joining new groups, that's another one. I feel like, you know, when you have the same group of circle of friends that you surround yourself by, or coworkers that you surround yourself by, or you're always like hanging with your family, it's like, you know what? Go visit a different family. You know, like go with one of your friends to their family function. See how their family operates. Because maybe you're annoyed with your family. And you're like, God, my family's so annoying. They're so dramatic. They drive me crazy. Go hang out with another family. Because guess what? You're going to get to see them have all of their struggles, all of their crazinesses, all of the things that they deal with. And it's going to make you feel more grateful, more appreciative of what you have with yours. Because you're not the only one, right? I think perspective is understanding that you're not the only one, right? And I think it's important that we get used to doing these things on a regular basis. That's basically it that I have for tips for you on opening up perspective. And I think there's a lot of good quality things in there that you can start doing today to get it going, right? And don't stop. Keep going. Keep exposing. Keep learning. Keep traveling. Keep visiting. Keep meeting. Keep learning. Keep writing. Keep growing. Because that is what is going to make you your best. Because your attitude truly does change when you open up this perspective. And you have a better appreciation for everything in your life, good or bad. You know, it's the way that you look at it. Bob Marley has this very amazing quote, one of my favorite songs. He says, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. It is so true. So no one can change your mind, can change your perspective but you. And so it's time to take it seriously, get out of the pity parties, and get on with it. Start seeing the bright side. Tag one of your friends that needs to hear this message, or if you don't want to tag them because they need to hear this message and then they'll feel like, embarrassed, or you'll feel bad about pointing them out, just share with them what you learned today because they need to hear it too. In my Sexy Confident Woman formula, which I'm going to share with you guys in a link below these podcast notes, I really created that program, that 4-week program, to not just support you on making better choices with your fitness, with your food, with your mindset, but it's truly to help you gain a different perspective about food, about fitness, and about yourself. Because I knew that early on in my career as a trainer, nothing I ever really did or said to my clients shifted them. It was like in the moment, they were in it, they were working out, they would tell me they were eating pretty healthy, but I never had a way to help them shift their mindset, their frame of mind, their outlook on food, their perspective about exercise and what that was doing for them, or their mindset and how important that was for their growth. And so when I created the Sexy Confident Woman formula, I decided that this isn't just a guide to tell you what to do. It will support you to make healthy choices and to help you make better, behavior shifts in your life. But it's really, truly powerful because it's different than any other fitness program or any other nutritional program or anything like that. If you're going for weight loss, it's different than all those programs because it's shifting your perspective. It's changing the way you think about exercise. It's giving you lessons that change your thinking and your perspective towards food. It's changing the way you think about personal development and mindset and confidence and self-love. Those are the most powerful lessons that you can possibly adopt for real, sustainable, long-term changes in your life. So if you guys are serious, really serious about making changes in your life, it's not just about weight loss. It's not just about, workouts. It's not just about what do I eat. It's not just about getting out of a negative frame of mind. It's everything that has to do with you living your best life. Because when it comes to our body, when it comes to our fuel, when it comes to our mindset, that is all so important in how you make choices every single day. And if your perspective is like, oh, I hate this, or this is such torture, or who gives a crap, or I just want to be negative, then your life is going to suffer and you're going to struggle and you're not going to enjoy the adventures that await you. So I highly encourage you to check out the details of my Sexy Confident Woman formula. And I really want to see you in that community because it doesn't just end after 4 weeks. We are an ongoing, growing community. We call ourselves the pioneers, and we're really, truly leading a movement of women that want to live this lifestyle, that want to have this positive, optimistic perspective on all of these things that really, truly make a difference in our lives. So I really hope to see you in there, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode and you'll take it to the next level in your life. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.